James Bond. The name alone evokes intrigue, danger, and adventure. Before he was a global icon, James Bond was the creation of Ian Fleming, a former British intelligence officer turned novelist. Fleming drew upon his own wartime experiences to craft the character of Bond, a suave and resourceful secret agent. Bond, code number 007, embodied the spirit of adventure and resilience that defined post-war Britain. Fleming published the first Bond novel, Casino Royale, in 1953. The book introduced readers to the world of espionage, high-stakes gambling, and international intrigue. Bond's character was an immediate hit. He was a flawed hero, a man of action who was also a womanizer and a gambler. This complexity made him relatable, despite his extraordinary life. Fleming followed Casino Royale with a series of successful novels, including Live and Let Die, Moonraker, and Goldfinger. Each book further cemented Bond's place in the public imagination. The novels were instant bestsellers, capturing the imaginations of readers worldwide. Fleming's writing, characterized by its sharp prose and vivid descriptions, transported readers to exotic locales. Little did Fleming know, his creation was about to become a global superstar. In 1962, the world was introduced to James Bond on the big screen in Dr. Number. Producers Albert R. Broccoli and Harry Saltzman took a gamble adapting Fleming's novels. Their gamble paid off, forever changing action cinema. Sean Connery, a then relatively unknown Scottish actor, was chosen to embody the iconic secret agent. His portrayal was both suave and deadly, captivating audiences. Dr. No was an instant success, breaking box office records. The film introduced key elements of the Bond universe: exotic locations, thrilling action, beautiful women, and Bond's wit. Dr. No wasn't just a spy thriller, it was a cultural event. It established a template for future Bond movies. The success of Dr. No ensured the continuation of the franchise. It cemented James Bond's place as a pop culture icon. More importantly, Dr. No ushered in a new era of espionage thrillers. It resonated with audiences hungry for escapism and adventure. The film's blend of action, humor, and glamour proved irresistible. It spawned countless imitators and influenced generations of filmmakers. The world had fallen under the spell of James Bond. One of the most fascinating aspects of the James Bond franchise is the evolution of the character through the various actors who have portrayed him. Each actor brought their own unique interpretation to the role, reflecting the changing times and evolving perceptions of masculinity. Sean Connery, with his rugged charm and undeniable charisma, defined the character for a generation. Following Connery's departure, George Lazenby briefly stepped into the role, bringing a more vulnerable and nuanced portrayal. Roger Moore followed, ushering in an era of tongue-in-cheek humor and over-the-top action. Timothy Dalton took over in the late 1980s, bringing a darker, more serious tone. Pierce Brosnan then embodied the character in the 1990s, bringing a suave sophistication and athleticism. Each actor left their mark on the character, ensuring that James Bond remained relevant and exciting for new generations. The ability of the franchise to reinvent itself while staying true to its core elements is a testament to its enduring appeal. Bond's adaptability has kept him fresh and engaging. This evolution has allowed the franchise to thrive for decades. The James Bond franchise was born during the height of the Cold War. This global conflict provided a fertile backdrop for the series' tales of espionage and international intrigue. Bond became a symbol of the West's fight against communism. His missions often pitted him against Spectre, a nefarious criminal organization. This reflected the real-world anxieties of the time. The Cold War was a time of high tension, with fears of nuclear war and rampant espionage. James Bond provided an escape, offering a world where good triumphed over evil. The films often incorporated real-world events and locations into their plots. Bond's adventures took him from the casinos of Monte Carlo to the bustling streets of Hong Kong. As the Cold War thawed, the franchise adapted to new adversaries and threats. Bond's enemies evolved to reflect changing global anxieties. The franchise's ability to adapt is key to its longevity. James Bond may have been a product of the Cold War, but he remains a versatile hero. He remains capable of tackling any threat to global security. Shaken, not stirred. The enduring appeal of Bond's masculinity. James Bond's enduring appeal lies in part in his embodiment of a particular brand of masculinity. Bond is the quintessential action hero, suave, sophisticated, and always in control. He is a skilled fighter, a sharp dresser, and a master of seduction. Bond is the man every man wants to be and the man every woman wants to be with. Bond's masculinity is both aspirational and problematic. He is often criticized for his womanizing ways and his casual disregard for rules. However, it is this very complexity that makes him so compelling. Bond is not a perfect hero. He is flawed, but he is also charming, resourceful, and ultimately committed to doing what is right. Recent iterations, particularly Daniel Craig's portrayal, have explored Bond's vulnerability and emotional depth. This evolution reflects changing societal attitudes towards masculinity. Despite these changes, Bond remains an icon of masculinity. He embodies a fantasy of power, confidence, and control that continues to resonate with audiences. From Russia with love and other exotic locales, the allure of Bond's world. One of the hallmarks of the James Bond franchise is its use of exotic locations. From the snow-capped Alps to the sun-drenched beaches of the Caribbean, Bond's missions take him to some of the most breathtaking and glamorous destinations on Earth. These exotic locales are more than just backdrops for Bond's adventures. They are an integral part of the franchise's appeal. The films often showcase local culture and traditions, albeit through a highly stylized lens. Bond's globe-trotting adventures have taken him to 6 continents and countless countries. Each location adds a unique flavor to the films, enhancing the sense of adventure and escapism. The franchise's use of exotic locations has helped to create a sense of global appeal. Audiences around the world can find something to enjoy in Bond's adventures. Bond in the 21st century, Daniel Craig and the reinvention of an icon. When Daniel Craig took on the mantle of James Bond in 2006's Casino Royale, the franchise underwent a dramatic reinvention. Gone were the days of invisible cars and over-the-top gadgets. Craig's Bond was a more grounded and gritty interpretation, grappling with complex emotions and the physical and psychological toll of his dangerous profession. Casino Royale rebooted the franchise, taking Bond back to his roots as a blunt instrument of espionage. Craig's Bond was a rough-around-the-edges killer, driven by a need for justice and haunted by his past. Craig's era explored the psychological complexities of being a 00 agent. The films retained the classic Bond elements of action, exotic locations, and beautiful women, but also injected a dose of realism and emotional depth. Craig's Bond was a critical and commercial success. His portrayal of Bond will undoubtedly influence the franchise for years to come. The legacy of Bond. More than just a spy. The legacy of James Bond extends far beyond the realm of film. The franchise has had a profound cultural impact, influencing fashion, music, technology, and even the way we view the world. Bond's influence can be seen everywhere, from the popularity of the Martini to the sleek designs of Aston Martin cars. Bond's gadgets have captured the imaginations of generations. The franchise has also had a significant impact on men's fashion, inspiring countless men to up their style game. The James Bond franchise has become a cultural touchstone. Bond's impact on popular culture is undeniable and will continue for generations to come. Cultural impact. Bond, James Bond. The impact of James Bond on popular culture is undeniable. The franchise has permeated every aspect of our lives, from the clothes we wear to the cars we drive. Bond's influence can be seen in the world of fashion. His tailored suits and impeccable style have inspired generations of men. Bond's gadgets have also had a significant impact on our collective imagination. From jetpacks to underwater cars, Bond's gadgets have often blurred the line between science fiction and reality. Many of these gadgets have inspired real-world technological advancements. Bond's globe-trotting adventures have opened our eyes to new cultures and destinations. They have fueled our desire for travel and adventure. The Bond franchise has left an indelible mark on our culture. It has entertained and inspired us for over 6 decades. The franchise continues to evolve and adapt to the changing times. The future of 007. Will the legend continue? As the James Bond franchise enters its 7th decade, the question on everyone's mind is, where does 007 go from here? With Daniel Craig's tenure as Bond at an end, the search is on for the next actor to inherit the iconic tuxedo. The future of the franchise hinges on finding an actor who can bring fresh energy and perspective to the role. The challenge for the filmmakers will be to strike a balance between respecting the franchise's legacy and evolving to meet the expectations of modern audiences. The next Bond film will need to address contemporary issues and reflect the changing world we live in. One thing is certain, the James Bond franchise is here to stay. Bond is more than just a character, he is a cultural phenomenon. As long as there are stories to be told and villains to be vanquished, James Bond will be there, licensed to thrill for generations to come.